Okay, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Commissioner Smith, if you do the prayer and the pledge, please, sir.
Let's do the attitude of prayer. Our God, our Father, we come once again before your presence to thank you, Heavenly Father, for the many blessings thou bestowed upon us. We ask now, Lord, for your presence in this meeting. Allow us to be disagreeable in order that we might be agreeable, that we respect one another's opinion. Heavenly Father, we pray that all that is said and done will be pleasing and acceptable in your sight. In thy Son, Jesus' name, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'd like to welcome everybody for tonight's
Put your phone on silent.
town hall meeting. I think we'll start out with Commissioner Ness. You want to introduce yourself? We'll come down the line.
Sure. Thank you all for showing up. My name is Nick Nesta. I'm a commissioner here for the city of Apopka. Was elected around March of last year, so the newest one up here, but very excited to just hear from the residents, your concerns, your needs, and see how we can progress together from here. So thank you for showing up.
Good evening. My name is Alexander Smith, City Commissioner for Seat 1 for the City of Apopka. Was elected in 2018. Currently serving my second term as your City Commissioner. And here tonight to hear what it is that you expect from the city should annexation take place. Welcome.
Thank you. Mayor Brian Nelson, City of Apopka. This is my second term.
Commissioner Kyle Becker, I've been on City Council for 6 years. Glad to be back. And I look forward to the open dialogue and open conversation this evening. So thank you.
Okay. Good evening. I am Diane Velasquez, Commissioner here in the City of Apopka. We're here for you today, so I'm looking forward to hearing from you.
I'm Orange County Commissioner Christine Moore, and I'm happy to be here listening. And if any of you come and speak with regard to county services, it would be helpful for me. And I know they have another menu, but to hear what's going well and maybe what you think should be going better. And I'm here to take notes and share any of your comments back with staff. And thank you for having me be with you, Mayor and Commissioners.
Okay, let's see. All right, well, what we want to try to do is give you some questions that may be on your mind, and then if you wanted to come up and speak about these, we've got four sets, as you got on your paper, 4 sets of questions, kind of, we tried to lump them together. So we'd like to hear your thoughts. The first one was, are you happy with services Orange County provides? What services are not being provided by the county? And if services are provided by the county, which are not at a satisfactory level? And have you communicated your concerns with the county? So anybody like to come up and address that issue?
He doesn't live in South Africa.
Come. Sure.
I have no complaints with the county.
Okay.
I heard things about people saying that they were not satisfied with the trash pickup. I have no complaints. So I don't know where people are getting the idea that, getting the idea that everybody is not satisfied with Orange County. I don't believe that to be the fact. I was never asked my opinion until now. You know, I'm just saying how you guys do things is ask everybody, not just a select few.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, that's what we're looking for is
Hi. Before you come up to the lectern, if you
Lori
could
Tarver.
just say your name
Lori
so that
Tarver.
we can keep track.
Lori Tarver.
Oh, it's okay. And she does.
and you're in the,
I did get
if
your
we were to
email.
annex, you're within that. No, but you're in the area that we're looking to, if we were going to annex. Yes, okay, thank you. Okay.
Okay, I can read a little bit, so I'm gonna do what y'all said up there. Good evening. My name is Leroy Bell. I live at 2308 Blue Meadows Court, Apopka, Florida. That's in the city. And everybody have their own opinion. And first of all, I want to thank the mayor you did a great job on getting the people out so they can tell you how they feel about this issue. When you took and emailed the commissioners about this meeting, you just only 2 days ago put it up on the web so people could see it. And I always say that when the people pay their water bill in South Apopka, they pay it to the city of Apopka. Number two, and for verification, you could have sent that out notice that we could have people out here to stand up and speak for themselves. Secondly, I want to hold this up in the air. You have yourself and Ms. Boykin, every chance you get, you hold up about annexation. Oh my God, they didn't want it back in the 80s. I got mine. Well, what I got here is a lawsuit that was did by Mr. Willie Lewis Freeman, Eddie Lee Williams, and the orchestrator was one of the greatest deacons around here in the church, Mr. Lafayette Jardell. Now, while you're kicking against annexation here in South Apopka, I just found out today from your good friend Rod Love. He came down to the seniors meeting today and told about all this money that the city had, and I'm trying to figure out why in the world there's nothing changing from 6th Street down to 10th Street on this side. Oh yeah, and Commissioner Moore, I think he put it at $600 million or $6 million that the county have. And just like I say, this young lady is pleased with you, but I can tell you half of South Apopka, or the majority, it's not. Now, where do we go from here? Every time it come up South Apopka, when it comes to your friends and they can make a few dollars, then they come out. Like building houses for the ministerial lines. You took the field from Mr. Lorenzo Williams. I thought it was an insult to put Mr. Billy Dean's name on a building, on a field that you already gave to somebody else. And I wish you would cut me off. I wish you would. You can hold that. You can hold that. But we'll get back to annexation. You get on Channel 30, on Spectrum, and you call these people over there, them. What do they want from us? What can we do for them? You said you came over here and seen a car setting up on the blocks. And you said, well, they want to be annexed in the city of Apopka. That won't happen. Have you been down there behind McDonald's lately? Yeah, and the city property. Have you been there? Now, I'm glad that you guys came out with these questions and stuff, but see, you can't read people's mind. This young lady right here, she don't want annexation. But me and Alexander have been here ever since the city just about been making money up here. You stood on Rock Spring Ridge stage and you told them people in Rock Spring Ridge, I'm up here trying to get you a golf course to raise your property values. But the city is making money off that dump down there, that polluting people, that because people have to close their well down and polluted their well. You're making money off that and lowering the property value on this side and calling them people them. I'm going to back up right now because guess what? I got an issue with every question up there. Matter of fact, I got an issue with you, and you know that. Because the only thing you know is to get your friends to help empower you, and you put money in their pocket. It's time to stop picking the pocket of the people of South Apopka.
I'd like to piggyback off of Mr. Bell, and I wrote an email to City of Apopka because I know they didn't give everyone just notice of this meeting. At the last meeting we had in January, it was discussed, how did you notify the citizens of South Apopka? You guys sat up there and said, oh, we'll do better. But this time you didn't do better. You only put it in the newsletter. How many people here are subscribed to the newsletter so that they know? I happened to come by talking to my neighbor. I wouldn't have known. There should have been a lot more people here than this. But you did it again. Downright disrespect for the citizens because you didn't notify everybody. You didn't give everybody due just. The second thing is that from Spectrum 13, I saw that clipping with you, Mr. Mayor, where you said that, and I quote, you got a car in the backyard up on blocks. Not gonna happen in the city of Apopka. You have unpermitted sheds. Not gonna happen in the city of Apopka. Orange County just don't wanna be bothered, but I tell you what, city of Apopka will. You know what that tells me? That you're looking for money. Nothing in your interview with Spectrum 13 talked about what you're gonna do for the residents of South Apopka. Nothing. Only thing you're talking about is money, 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 money. That's it. That's it. How are you gonna help us pay for the 21.8% property tax increase? What are you gonna do about changing the septic over to sewer? How are you gonna help us? Older folks, people been in their homes for over 30 years. And Mr. Smith, I believe you was on that same interview. You said that you speak for the people of Apopka, and you said that we feel isolated. I don't know who you're speaking for, but I don't feel isolated. We've been doing good all by ourselves all these years. And again, I'll say it like I said in January. I think this here is just because you want the money for the houses that they're building over here on Martin Road, behind Lake Opal, across from Apopka Road. That's all it's about, the money. We don't need an extra garbage truck. You're gonna have to get one anyway because of all the people that's coming. So that's not doing us any good. You know, so all this annexation, y'all can keep it.
Anybody else want to just speak to the first question, which is, are you happy with services that Orange County is providing? And if,
My name is Liz Roper, and I am happy with the services from Orange County.
okay, great.
And I really don't want the annexation either.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else on that issue? Can we go to the next?
What her name is. We'll get it before we-
I did not.
They put a fan?
Sylvester Hall, 3091 Rolling Hills Lane, Apopka, Florida. No, I do not live in South Apopka. So you say, why am I here? Why have I made a vested interest in this? Because we're at the drawing board again as black people, and I'm gonna keep it real, asking for acceptance. So I asked the question, why was South Apopka left out in the initial annexation? And if you ask yourself that, then you can go back and you can start looking at why we are here today. I only have one question because as a black man, I'm tired of begging to be accepted. It's time for me to demand respect. And that's what I want to come back over here and work with my people in South Apopka. It's time for us to change this. And we will change this. Mayor, we will change this. The only question I want answered, and I'm going to shut my mouth for the rest of the night, because the last meeting we was in, City Attorney Rodriguez said there was 2, maybe 3 requirements. One of the requirements was that the city has to be on board with the annexation. Now, if the mayor and the commissioners are not on board with annexation, then everything we doing here is just a dog and pony show. Everything we doing here is a dog and pony show. So what I want to do tonight, I want each one of y'all to answer the question. Are you for annexing in South Apopka? If you're not, state why. And if you are, state why. Let the people know. That's the only question I want, and I'll shut my mouth for the rest of the night. And if the people here, the last time, if you was here the last time we had this meeting, I said I would come back and I would do my presentation on how I feel about annexing South Apopka. That will be here on April the 15th. That's on a Saturday. So you can keep that date. Then you can come here and you can talk as long as you want. I have the building rented out for 8 hours. I want to come back and I want to talk to you about how we move forward in South Apopka and how we make South Apopka the envy of the country. Thank you. Please answer the question.
just to kind of start that off, because the goal of this is kind of a town hall is to kind of have a little more dialogue, things like that. So, and to hear from residents more as well. And I think as much as we want the question answered of yes or no immediately, it's we represent the residents. I want to know what the residents want more than anything. And it was my understanding, I could be wrong, that it's not us as council members that choose, it's the residents of incorporated and residents in unincorporated that make that decision. I think we can choose whether or not it's on the ballot, but I think there can also, and I could be wrong, the city attorney's not here to correct me.
Well, he needs to be here, because the thing was, if you guys didn't agree with it, it was a lost cause, period, because it is never going to get on the table to be voted on. So if we're not doing that, and we're not knowing where you at, and this is me, as a leader, you've been chosen to lead and represent the people. Now, South Apopka annexation is not something that just came up. It's been around for a while. Now, if you are representing the people and you can't see a need to have South Apopka annexed in, when you look at the north side and when you look at the south side, then there's a problem with each and every one of you up there. And you don't need to know what the people, how they feel. Yeah, you want to know how they feel now, but you inside, as the leader of the people, chosen by the people, how do you feel about it? We need to know that. I don't need you to be coercing, well, do you love me? You love me not. Because that should be in here ordinary, because you're serving the people. And if you want best for the people, how in the HELL can you say annexation is not good for South Apopka? Any official whatsoever, if you go back and you look at history, the annexation is the number one thing that keep an orderly development in that area that you can track. Now, when you look at when the city of Apopka moved forward, and you look at South Apopka now, and you can't see the difference, just what Leroy was speaking on and I talked to Mr. Hick about it after we left the last city council meeting. When you build the Billy Dean Center, that parking area out there, if that was on the north side, when the plans came forward, that parking area would have been already developed for that area. There is not a park on the north side that don't have adequate parking. None. When you built the parking lot, it was inadequate because you didn't care. That's what we get when we're not represented. That's what we get when we don't stand up and demand the same treatment and the same that we get on the north side. Because they keep you unorganized and they keep you without a vote. And this is what's happening. If this is my home, and half of my living room is South Apopka, and everybody in my home is welcome, but not the people in the living room. I walk around them all day. We go from bedroom to bedroom, bathroom, kitchen. But in the living room, we don't bother y'all. City of Apopka is South Apopka. It's not Orange County. We was just left off, and Orange County became our adopted parents. But we know, if you look back at the records, we know on the south side of the tracks, all the blacks are supposed to live over there. And that was mandated by the city of Apopka. That wasn't mandated by nobody on the outside. That was the city of Apopka. So we put you over there and we say, we don't care about you. So if we told you you got to stay over there, then what type of assistance do you think we're going to get? If we separated you from us, that tells you we don't want you. So I'm tired of coming here begging, and I was here maybe 10 years ago when I stood right here and I told the people in South Apopka, we don't need the Commissioner Dan Nelson to rebuild South Apopka. But the mayor, I'm letting you know now, it's a new age. My kids are grown. They don't need daddy to watch them all the way. So I got more time to pour into the city of Apopka, the city of, I'm going to say South Apopka. And I guarantee you, I will work the people and we'll get to that promised land that Martin Luther King talked about. If you don't want to answer the question, that tells me where you stand.
Mr. Hall, and all the residents here present, I don't think it's a secret that it's always been my performance and my belief that the unincorporated part of Apopka needs to be a part of the city, that we need to be one Apopka. And I still stand on that platform even today. I am a product of the unincorporated part of Apopka. In order to be a city official, I had to relocate inside the city limits. And so I know that there's still individuals that would still like to be a part of city government. And I firmly believe that the government that's closest to you can provide you the best services. And so that's why I'm in favor of the annexation.
Well, my name is Pastor Hezekiah Bradford. I actually own quite a bit of property in South Apopka. I don't live in South Apopka, but I have 3 houses on the street. I'm going to try and do things in an orderly fashion because I want to show order. So I'm going to first deal with the questions that I see on the board, and then I'll move to what my thoughts and my feelings are. But I would like to deal with the questions that are on the board. I pastor a church in Zellwood, and I know that out of sight is out of mind. So with Apopka, we actually are blaming the city for stuff that Orange County isn't doing. So let me blame the city for what the city isn't doing. Number one, I believe that a better job could be did going to 10th Street. Once you cross the tracks on the south side, the city isn't doing enough to show me that I would want to be a part of the city if they cannot service and take good care of the part that they already have. So I think number one, you need to make sure that you're doing the best job that you can do for the people that you already serve. When I look at Orange County, I don't think that Orange County is doing an outstanding job because when the last time the mayor been to Apopka, Jerry Demings? When the last time Commissioner Christine Moore have had a meeting that she called for Orange County members here at the Breakthrough Center? So we want to throw stones, but let's throw them in the right direction. Let's look at, could Orange County do a better job? They have a bigger budget. So then if we're looking at sewage compared to septic, I don't think it should be the city's job to actually take care of that. That's what Orange County should be doing, okay? Let's be fair, and let's not just be mad with who's up there. Let's put the whole picture on the table, all right? Orange County have dollars that are allocated to other communities, but not allocated to this community. Let me give y'all one reason why. Because I've never seen any of y'all at an Orange County Commissioners meeting. So we don't know that there are monies available. For instance, the Bridges Center, I work with the CAB board. There are a lot of dollars that has been allocated for programs here, but nobody comes to those programs. So those dollars that was allocated is taken back from our community. So we are blaming somebody for not doing what we ought to be doing. The Bridges Center could do a lot more if we would have participants that are willing to do it. So let's blame ourselves also for some things that we're blaming everybody else for. The other part of this, I believe that we should hold Orange County the same way we are doing with the city of Apopka. We should hold them accountable for the job that they are not doing. Okay, we have our county commissioner up here right now, Christine Moore. I talked to her on several occasions. Y'all ask her what she's doing for the community. Let's be open and let's ask everybody to do their job. Do I think that annexation is a good thing? That's a personal issue that has to be thought through from my perspective. But until I can see that Apopka is going to do a better job with what they already have, why would I want to be annexed into a situation to where nobody up here is concerned about what's taking place? Number one, we need to look at how do we hold everyone up here accountable. Alexander is not the commissioner for South Apopka. Everybody up here is accountable. I said, when is the last time they actually walked the streets other than when they was looking for a vote to see what they could do better? And so I think that when we look at the whole situation, we want to point fingers at each other. All of us are responsible for something that's not being done. So let's be real and stop just targeting. This is what, because Orange County is not doing the job that they could be doing with the money that they are making. Let's hold Orange County accountable as well. And when we do that, now we come back to the table and make a decision. Because, am I right, Ms. Moore? They're not having meetings over here, but they're all over in Pine Hills and every place else, because those are the people that are holding the county accountable. We are holding the city accountable for what the city don't own. Yes, they should do what they need to do from the aspect of water, but we are in the county. When I get ready to do something in Zellwood, I don't call the city of Apopka, because they are almost annexed into my property right there at the airport. I have to call Orange County. Let's call Orange County to the table and hold Orange County accountable with the city, and then we move forward.
Hi, I'm Phyllis Olmsted. Can you hear me through this?
Yeah, can you take it off?
I'm Phyllis Olmsted, Dr. O. I live in the city limits. I'm a historian here, but I go back to serving this area of Apopka. Back when I taught hospital homebound, I was an Orange County employee, hospital homebound, and worked for the state, paid by the state to work in Orange County. And I would go into homes I went into palaces, and I went into homes that had newspaper over the windows and had underwear stuffed in the doorknob to get in and out. And I would lend computers to the students. And when we turned them on, roaches would crawl out. There would be holes in the floors that I would walk around to get in there to take care of the new mothers that had 3-day-old babies and children with AIDS and cancer. And this is what I went in to work with every day. And then I opened my store here. And I then ended up doing some genealogy and finding out that the people, when I was on the board of directors for the Habitat for Humanity, that one of the Habitat families that was there happened to be cousins of mine. And some of my cousins are here right now today. So I have great ties to this area. And it's important to me, but I'm also the historian of the area, and if you read The Pinnings of Perrine Slim, I published that. And what I wanted to relate to Sly Sylvester, I could set my clock every day by him coming in and dropping off titles at my store for 9 years. The history that you need to know to go back to what they were talking about, what he was talking about, is that there was only one giant Apopka. And until the nation, not the city of Apopka started it, but the nation started Jim Crow nationwide. And then the city had to enact, the banks and change the law. And the city picked the railroad track as a division, whereas Orange County, or Orlando, picked Division Street. And only one family was allowed. One family fought, and one black family stayed north of the railroad track, the Chisholm family. All the others lost all of their property. All the black families lost all of their property north of the railroad track, and all of the white families lost all of their property below the railroad track. So the whites lost too. They had to move. They lost what they lost. And any white getting off the railroad track to the south without a business permit or a reason to go south of the railroad track, they got in trouble with the law, and every black that got off on the north side of the railroad track without a business reason, they got arrested. And so both sides had trouble, but predominantly the damage went to the black side, and you're right, very wrong. It was very wrong, and they got hurt and they got damaged worse. But that, the Jim Crow law, is what severed the city. There was no tax base because of lack of income on the south side. So that's why the Apopka city limit ended up being where it is because there was no tax base and no income down there. And so north area became the city because there was no tax base in the south. And now we need to bring it back together again. And we need to reunite us, and we need to make up for the damages of the Jim Crow era. And we need to fix the homes, and we need to bring people back together and try and help and be civil people about it. And bring our families back together.
Okay. All right. We got gentleman here is coming. Let him.
My other concern is the redlining. If we are not careful south of Apopka, and if we are annexed in, redlining simply means that there are going to be beautiful houses around south of Apopka. They are going to have businesses that's going to be around south of Apopka, and south of Apopka still may not be developed. So look at what's going on right now. You can see all of that is happening. So we need to be more concerned about making sure that if we are annexed, that we are going to have businesses that's going to come, because most low-income developed communities never have any businesses that come into their community. So the redlining is already taking place. If y'all look, it's already here. And so it's been developed all around South Apopka. Let's not just be crying about getting annexed in. Let's make sure if we get annexed in, we look like the neighborhood that is next to us.
To the board. Okay, to the board, my name is
Speak up a little bit.
Pastor Jimmy Howard.
Yes, sir.
And like many of them here, I was born and reared here in Apopka. And as the lady just stated about the tax purposes of Apopka, she was partially right. But during my growing up here, a lot of the property was not annexed into the city because of the person who owned the property. Mahafries, McClues, they own the west side. You know what I'm talking about. They wasn't going to be annexed in because they didn't want to pay taxes. And it's still that way now. And when I heard you made a comment on TV about being annexed in, it kind of stunned me. Yes, we need to clean up a lot of stuff, but the city in itself need to be cleaned up too. It need to be cleaned up too. Some things up there need to be cleaned up. And so what bothers me is that I travel Old Apopka Road. I've been up to the city when we've been trying to get traffic lights on Old Apopka Road in our area. From Park Avenue down to Bradshaw. We could not get a traffic light there, but here at the hospital in Apopka, they're putting a traffic light there. That bothered me. How can they get a traffic light when we cannot get one in our area? They got sidewalks on both sides of the street down there. But here in the city of Apopka, our children have to walk on the side of the road in grass and sand. But when I go across the north side, you got sidewalks on each side. It's a difference. And to Sister Christine Moore, many times I've been calling over to the county because they're not doing their job in picking up trash and stuff in our area. But I see them picking up trash in every other area.
Well, that isn't
And
true.
you go down the side, you go down our streets and stuff, and you still see rubbish. That we don't put it there all the time. It dumped at night. And so something need to be done about that. And then as Pastor Bradford said about 10th Street, the mayor know I've been arguing about 10th Street for years. But I can tell those who live in that county, those 4 young men that got killed in front of me, when you call the police or the law enforcement, they had to come from the county. But if we would have been in the city, they would have came from the city. My house caught fire about 2 years ago. I'm annexed into the city at 1013 South Central Avenue. I had to go up and put in the paperwork to be annexed. My house caught fire within 3 minutes. The fire department was there because it came from the city, but if I had been in the county, it had to come from Clark County area. I passed by a house on 13th Street last week. They was getting work done on the sewer. I say, somebody got about a $1,500 bill. But if we had sewer in our area, those things could be eliminated. And the county could help us out as well. They have a law about noise. And I've talked to the city police about noise. But we have guys run up and down the street, noise, you can hear them blasting almost uptime. The city police is sitting on the corner, will not say anything about it. But when they go across the railroad track, they cut the noise down. I go up to the Wawa station up there, you got 3 or 4 police cars sitting up there, but here on 10th Street where the store, where they hang out all the time, nobody patrols it. And I watch, I have to constantly call. We don't need that in our area. We need the county to do what it's supposed to do. We need the city to do what it's supposed to do. And if you look at the property, inside the property, you got more whites who own property than blacks. Blacks are mostly renting. And so even now they coming down, they building houses, and I thank God for that. But just like Pastor Bradford said, we need stuff like they up behind Apopka High School. That's where all the playgrounds are, the nice thing for our children. Why should our children have to leave this area to go across there to play in a water park? And we paying taxes in our area. You walk around Apopka, you won't see anything other than the Billy Dean Center that was half built, like he said. You won't see anything that we got in the last 25 years down in this area from the city. And the fire department, it's doing a good job up there, but it could also do a better job if South Apopka was annexed into it. We would have better coverage. And we are not begging, but we're asking. I'm in the city, but I would love to see the South Apopka be annexed into the city, and the city give us what we need. And in the meantime, while we're not in the city, I pray that the county will give us what we need. But I say this to South Apopka. We need to get organized, and we need to put a proposal together and go in unity to let them know what South Apopka really need.
Okay. Can I get we'll try to move on to the next question, but this is just for county residents. So I know we've had two ladies that said that they are for, they're happy with the county services. So can I get a hand of the folks that live in the unincorporated South Apopka that are happy with their services? Okay. So how many are unhappy with the services? No, you're not. No, this is just for county residents, just county. So,
He doesn't live in the city down
so
there either. They're not,
half and half, 50%.
no.
Come on down. Oh, yeah. Come on down. No, we need to try.
I'm also a teacher with Orange County Public Schools. I've been teaching for 36 years. That means I've been to several schools, some in the county, some in the city, Zellwood, Apopka, and Pine Hills, and there is a difference. Schools in Apopka and Apopka Elementary, they're spruced up, they look good. You get whatever you need. You go to Zellwood, they start slacking up. You go to Pine Hills, there's none. So what's going to happen with Wheatley if we annex?
Well, that's got nothing to do with the city of Apopka or Orange County. Come on down.
Monique Morris, 630 13th Street. Mayor, commissioners, you keep saying, Mayor, you keep saying who's not happy, who's unhappy. It has nothing to do with happy or unhappy with what the county is doing. These questions are irrelevant. I feel these questions should not even be questions we should be asking, because you're trying we need to know the advantages and the disadvantages of annexation into the city of Apopka. That's it. Not, are you happy with the services Orange County? We're throwing shade at Orange County real bad by these questions, because it's not about that. It's what we want. And I think if we are annexed into the city, like it was stated before, we're not going, like Jerry Dimmons haven't been over here, so we can go up and see our mayor. We can talk to our commissioners. If they have districts, our commissioners will probably get districts then if we're annexed into the city. We can go and have great activities at the different locations, the recreation centers. If you ever rented one, you know if you live in the county, you pay more money than the people that live in the city. If somebody in your family die, and you want to be buried at Edgewood Cemetery, you're going to pay more money than someone in the city. That's why all y'all done got y'all cousins that's in the city to bury y'all loved ones to get their plot. But what I'm saying is that we need to know, to me, all the only positive questions on this sheet is the last one. All the other ones are saying, do you know who? Yes, we know who our county representatives are. Yes, we know that Christine Moore is our District 2 Commissioner. Yes, we know that Jerry Dimmons is our mayor. Yes, we know all of this stuff. So we're talking about annexing into the city. What are our advantages? What are our disadvantages? We need to stop talking about it, and we need to do some type of windshield surveys. We need to go door to door to these people. We need to create a brochure for the people that don't understand this. This is why this room is not full. You want to know why? Because people are ignorant to the fact of annexation. They don't know what it is. We need to go and knock on these doors. We need to talk to these people. We need to create a brochure. We need to get a petition going. All of this stuff needs to happen in order to see this go forward, in order to see if they want it to happen. Yes, I want to be annexed in the city. Yes, I have tried to annex in the city, and I have been denied twice. So we need to make sure that we are providing the information, not the negative part of it. We can't look at the negative part of it. The other question, have you tried to request assistance from your county representative? Yes, we have. It has nothing to do with that. It's about annexing into the city of Apopka. What are our advantages? What our disadvantages are? We can be one Apopka. It's all about coming together, about being one, stop being divided, stop being separated. I don't feel separated because I know pretty much all of y'all, and I can go to you and talk to you when I want to. But a lot of people don't. So guess what? The older people, the senior citizens, they're going to sit at home and say, no, I don't want nobody taking my property. No, I don't want no people coming to take my house, because they don't know. So what you do, you go to their houses. You send out, and a lot of older people, they don't read. You have to talk to them and let them know the things. And Commissioner Moore, I got her cell phone number, her office number, and I call her when my trash haven't been picked up in 3 weeks. I call her. I talk to her. So it's not like we're not bashing anybody today. We just want to know how we can move forward, whether it's a petition need to go out, whether a brochure need to be created with the advantages and the disadvantages of annexing in the city. No, people don't want to pay no extra money. No, they don't want to do that. But you have to break it down. So, Pastor Howard, where's Pastor Howard? So when you annex into the city, did you have to pay extra money? Okay, so a lot of people thinking that they're going to be this huge amount of money that we're going to have to pay, and go ahead. Yeah, so a lot of people just don't know.
True.
So that's another advantage, right? So, yeah, it's a pro. So what are our advantages? What are our disadvantages? In the city council meeting, Mayor, you stated that we were going to have a town hall format meeting. You wanted to hear from the people, but we came with a paper. We should not have this paper. Hear from the people, the questions that we have, our concerns that we have, how we can move forward. We should not come in here with the paper. This is already giving you a preconceived notion of your thinking. And this is not the way that it should be. We should express ourselves, just like I am right now, and you take notes, just like Commissioner Moore said, and then y'all go back to the table and talk or have a meeting or workshop or whatever you need to have, and then how we can move forward. But when nobody knows what's going on in South Apopka, when nobody comes down here, when nobody's doing that windshield survey and riding around, seeing what's happening, you cannot tell us, and giving us these questions is not the best way to go. And just, then that's all I have to say.
Come on in. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Kenneth Gibson. I've been staying here 61 years. I stay across the street over here. Recently, in the last couple of years, I just built the house ground up, and when I finished building, I spent about $80,000. I had to pay about $17,000. Where did all those taxes, where did all this tax money go to? I'm saying $17,000. That money should have been spent down here. Where did it go? To the county? I'm saying a lot of people actually don't know how it feels to actually build and own the house. I got lucky and I was able to build the house from ground up. And on this side of the street, you guys got plumbing, you understand? And we got to have septic tanks over here on the other side of the street. They got a sewer pipe. They got the sewer pipe running right down this, but they won't hook us up to it. I spent $6,000 for a septic tank. It don't cost that much to hook up to the city sewer. I'm saying we just being forgotten down here. I don't know about other people, but I think putting us together is better than us being apart. I'm saying all our money, all us spend money in taxes. So I just want to say that I'm grateful to have a place, but a lot of people down here, they want to own their own places. And if you give us the opportunity to be included, we can do these things, as long as you guys not including us. So, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So I guess we were about 50-50 on that. We'll just go to the next question. I mean, if anybody's, we're trying to, we've already kind of gone through that one. This is a question, one of the questions that if we were to take on South Apopka unincorporated, who should operate Wheatley Park and this center, the Bridges Center, city or the county?
First of all, I didn't get a chance to, I do know who my commissioner is. It's Commissioner Moore, and Commissioner Moore do know Florida Rising. Florida Rising have called Commissioner Moore several times without a return phone call. The St. Matthew's Church down on Stutzman Court have a dirt road down there. They just got in water down there, what me and you was talking about doing, but it never happened. It's a dirt road down there. These people paying taxes. They can't get in and out of their homes down there, but they calling Commissioner Moore. I know her well. A lot of people know her in Apopka well. Kenny just mentioned about hooking up to the sewer. Sewer is running throughout the number of streets here in Apopka, but Apopka City have put a connection fee that's kind of stiff. But up on the north end, Commissioner Moore have made sure that that side is hooked up to the sewer. And the way she did it, to keep from paying a substantial amount of money right off, they add just a little money to their utilities bill over a 10-year period to pay this off. So, trust me, I know or don't know who Christine Moore is. But, and I just wanted to do a little cleaning up. I sat on the advisory board here at the Bridges Center. I guess after the night, people might kick against that, but that's fine. I want to we heard a little about redlining. I used to sit on the advisory board, which was named the Enterprise Zoning Board for Mayor Teresa Jacobs. So redlining is where money come in from federal down to the state. You guys know this. Redlining money is supposed to be targeted for blight areas. That's where the money goes. But then we consider in the city, town centers and stuff with the CAR money or whatever you want to call it. CRA. You want to send that money down to the town center when you let people come in up on 8th Street, 6th Street, Luann Drive, with these old, regular, broke-down houses that they use for cash cows, and you won't take and make court enforcement do anything because they're your buddies, like the pastor just said, the Mahathis and the big people, the Hoopers and all this. But to put everything in a nutshell, yes, and we know who the city mayor is. We had him for right at 8 years in Tallahassee as a state representative. We had him over here in Orange County just a little up under shy of 7 months as a county commissioner. All this money that was here, how much did he put into South Apopka? The man sitting right there, y'all want to ask questions? Ask questions. You want to be real, Pastor? Let's be real. How much money did he put here? No, not only that. One of the leading members of the Ministerial Alliance, he became the appointed commissioner through Rick Scott, through the proposal from our mayor. He was Roy Love, hold up now. It's my turn now. It's my turn right now, Pastor. But it's my turn, Pastor. It's my turn, Pastor. Hey, it's my turn, Pastor. Pastor, it's my turn. Listen, it's my turn. And you said, let's get together. I tell you what, I'm not paid to say anything. Okay then, well, be quiet. Listen, here's the thing. You had Rod Love here for 7 months. He came to this center. You want to know who want to take charge of this, who's going to be in charge of it? He came to this center and said that our board and told her money is scarce. Didn't have none. And you came to this county and you put how many millions of dollars out in Lake Apopka in the hypervases? Yes, I heard the last speaker said, old folk don't read. I'm 63 years old, and I figure that old. I read a little bit. And yes, I'll be, your word to your boy, I'll be remiss if I didn't say this. In Lake Jewel, how many people have died in Lake Jewel from cancer clusters? How many people have died from respiratory ailments? That the dump down there, they had to close everywhere around here because the dump contaminated. This city make money off of it. In 2083, the March of Dimes did a study of dumps and young women being pregnant and low birth weight. Do you know how many people have lost their kids on account of that dump down there? Yes, it struck home. Yes, there's a God in heaven. And I'm not saying he wasn't there for nobody else, but he answered my prayer. I got a son sitting right there that were born, that the doctor told me some of it was environmental. 1 pound, 1 ounce. But God, he's there today. Now, I tell you what, if you're going to sit here and say, well, you're talking about the wrong one, you're blaming the wrong one. The wrong one is the one that's getting the shaft. I don't know what in the world that everybody is standing up talking about what the city is this, the city that. The city is making money hand over fist. But we are a liability, this man say to the city. When the city, one of his historian got on what that was, Channel Spectrum. His historian. I don't want it annexed simply because Apopka is 100 years ahead of South Apopka. She stated that it would take too much for South Apopka to catch up with Apopka. But I would ask this question. How did Apopka get so far ahead? Off the back of these people down here in South Apopka. When I ran for city commission, you said, how can I, Leroy Bell, do something that somebody never did? I told you once before, we don't have to recreate the wheel. Only thing we have to do in South Apopka, what you're doing in North Apopka.
Okay, does anybody have any other thoughts about this question? So,
My next thing, last meeting you were asked if you could let us know if there's a meeting, and you said, I thought you agreed to that. Now, this time you didn't again. If it was that I accidentally looked on the city website, I would never have known there was a meeting. So I let my neighbors know. So how can we expect you to do something for South Apopka if you can't even do that much?
Okay, come on up, sir.
How you all doing?
Good.
My name is Ivan Jarrett. I'm not from Apopka. Didn't grow up here. None of that. In the middle of the greatest crisis, there exists the possibility for the greatest thing to happen. Got it? Okay. So, here we are about annexation, and the argument is drifting from here to there, to this, to that. What I do know is all these people you see here, they live in Apopka. They're divided as to whether they need annexation or not. I'm going to play the devil's advocate because I don't come from here, but I own land in South Apopka. So I'm asking the county commissioner, Madam Commissioner, what's your opinion? Because this is the town hall, right? What's your opinion of annexation of South Apopka?
I think we're going to get to that. I think that'll be kind of the last question we ask everybody. We're going to ask everybody, I think there'll be two questions I think we should ask. One is, do you want to put it on the ballot? And then the second question would be.
It's not about the ballot though. I want to know what is
Well,
the
the second question would be.
Excuse me, you cannot direct this meeting like that. We have to do what you say I could come up and speak, right?
Absolutely.
So let me speak.
Okay.
So I'm asking the commission, what is your opinion of annexation of South Apopka?
You know, I was here to listen. I go back and forth on it, and there were some things here that were said about the county that weren't accurate, particularly with regard to the utilities. And so if you go back, and I am a student of history, unfortunately the county and the city had a habit of suing one another back before the 1990s.
All you have to do is say yes or no.
I can't answer that. It's not a simple question.
All right, cool. So all these people here, some of them want annexation, some of them don't want annexation. Annexation has its problem. My experience of annexation is this. Every single time somewhere has been annexed, for the most part, it's where black people live. Okay? And what has always followed is that they are gradually forced out or are facing hardship of some kind. So it's okay if some people want annexation. I don't have anything against those people because they believe that it improves their life. But there's a lot of people that annexation is going to change their life and not for the better. That old grandma who don't have anybody to take care of her, who's going to have to pay more taxes, or she has to clean up this place and move this, move that, there are going to be some hardships. People, this is not about money. This is not about whether the city takes it or the county takes it. This is about people's life. The only value here is people's life. What we gonna do? So get sewage, don't get sewage. Change this, change that. It all has to do, is got to be the best thing for all of the people. That's what politics is about. All of you are here, and I'm sure that some of us want annexation and some of us don't want it. But what do you want? Why are you here? Are you here because you're here to improve the life of the citizens? Or are you here just because you find out that there's a division among these people and you can exploit this division? That's how I feel. That's how I feel. I feel like there's a division among these people, and you all believe that you could come here and smile in your suits and with your pretty glasses and exploit this division because you want annexation. It's not just that these people want it. You want it for a reason. Let me show you. The optics are really bad. Really, really bad. Never started talking about, people have been talking about annexation for a long time. But really and truly, you are not here for that. I know that. I have land in South Apopka. I bought my land. And developers have come and offered me a lot of money for it. And I'm not selling it to them. I am of the opinion that these new houses that you see around here that they're building up, you know what? They're trying to let these developers in here. I know, I have seen annexation in Eatonville, in Maitland, annexing Eatonville. You know what happened next? All the black people are out, and they're building all these high-rise buildings. I have seen annexation in Winter Park. Even the Seventh-day Adventist Church had to leave. They found a way. I do not trust it. I am not saying that these people who want to be annexed don't have a legitimate reason to want to be annexed. Of course, they want to come under the umbrella of the city. because it means more police patrol, or it means that the ambulance come faster. I was educated by my brother coming in. And I share, that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Property value might go up, but who benefits the most? That's what we have to talk about. It's the people that have to benefit. And listen, I will fight you to the gates of hell if you think you could benefit.
Hey, I understand what he said, but I've been here 61 years. I go for annexation. I've been here since the monk and everything else, orange trees and everything. The outside, we don't need that.
Anybody else?
Yes.
Anybody else that's not spoken that wants to speak?
Yes,
For-
I'm going to speak, Mayor, because there's a couple other people who came up and speak twice, so don't try to shut me down like that. Thank you. Thank you. Don't try to shut me down like that. Now, what I'm going to bring up, and this is the elephant in the room that people don't want to talk about. Racism. People don't want to talk about it. Why we don't want to talk about it? And so if we go back and we want to be serious and we want to look at if we was over in North Apopka, would we be having this conversation at all? No. Thank you. So open up, be wise. Don't fall for the okadoke. We would not be having this conversation in North Apopka about not having sidewalks, not having sewage hookups. We wouldn't be having that. So when we pretend the reason we was put on that side of the track like racism didn't exist, people was beat down. People were tortured. People were lynched. And some of them, sitting right there at the table now, got great history with that, Mayor. But we pretend like it's not even there. We pretend that they went over to the south side of the tracks because they all wanted to migrate in that one area and have us one kumbaya moment. So that's why I'm asking you. And I'm telling you, it's time to stand up. We all need to go back and do our history. Educate ourselves. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to stand up because we was beat down. Well, we couldn't even look in the eyes of a white man. We looked down. And some of us are still in that state of mind. You are somebody. You're black and you're proud. The last year and a half, I went and visited the Martin Luther King Museum. I went to Alabama and visited the Legacy Mall, the Legacy Monument. I went to Savannah, Georgia. And when you go there, you won't be the same. Because what I see today, I would not let my granddaughter grow up in an environment like this. So that's why I ask you to come out next Saturday, April the 15th, and we want to talk about and we want to strategize how we rebuild South Apopka. Make them respect you because now they don't respect you, and they're showing you they don't respect you. You can't go to South Apopka, you can't go to North Side and have the same conversation because they know they will get their butts handed by the people. And in the same token, when you look at that, we got to look at how we treat ourselves as a people. And you got to realize, when we come together with love and unity, there's no stopping us. And it don't only make Black America better, it makes America better. So what I'm telling you now, stop going to the table and begging for what we deserve, what is rightfully ours. We go to the table and we look them dead in the eye and we demand that. And April the 15th, I will lead the way in starting to do that. We come together with one Apopka. When you look at history, you look at the Civil War, I'm 20-year retired Navy, 21 years retired Navy. At any given moment, the president said we're going to war, I'm putting my life on the line. So how can I stand up here in front of you and tell you that? If I can put my life on the line for you, then I expect you to stand up for yourself. We had the Civil War. The greatest casualty that this country has ever seen was the Civil War. And what was it about? Internal hate. Internal hate. That's what it was about, Mayor. One side wanted to suppress the other. One side wanted to be the leader and rule people. We lost more people in that war than any war. And that's come from inside hate. And it's time to bring love to the table. Because everybody fought in the Civil War, black and white, fought aside each other for freedom of black people. So we don't cast a spell on all white people. We know better than that. But we know there's some that still has that mindset where they want us back in slavery day. And it's not only in the South of Apopka, it's in Apopka, it's in Orlando, it's in Florida, and it's in the country. Until we face that and stop looking the other way and deal with it, we're going to continue to have these problems. And for me, I am tired of doing that. I am tired of looking the other way. I said it at the city council, I'm tired of being a coward and I'm tired of being a hypocrite. So it's time for us to stand up as black men and take control of our neighborhood. Our black women have been holding it down forever. It's time for us men to step up and do what we're supposed to do. And once we do that, there's no stopping us. Once we do that, there's no stopping us. And the last thing I'm going to say, and that's keeping it real, every time when black people got ready to progress, there was always another black person bringing them down. There was always another black folks say, I got it good with Master. Why should I leave Master? I got a free place. He can't see freedom. He can't see his equal to the Master. He can only see being a servant. That's not living, people. That's not living. So I tell you again, when we come together, there's nothing we can't do. If you look at your history, we only was able to allowed to read and write, but you look at our accomplishment. And a lot of people try to water that down, right, Mayor? Black history. Imagine the mayor telling us how to run black history and actually putting the program together for us. Like we can't do that as black people. So I say again, please come out April the 15th and let's start strategizing how we make North Apopka envy South Apopka. Whether you want us or not, we're going to do what we're supposed to do as a people. 2 o'clock, and we have the building till 8 o'clock. So we can talk as long as we want. Everybody's coming, everybody can come, and we're going to say how we're going to rebuild our South Apopka. Because South Apopka is me. And in the words of Nelson Mandela, poverty is not man-made. Poverty is not by accident. Just like over in Africa, the apartheid. It's man-made. So it can be cured by man. And anybody that's educated that up there know if you're a part of a city and you're not annexed into that city, you're not going to get your proper growth and you're not going to get the support that you need. It's a simple fact. So we need to move beyond asking them to do anything. Because once they see what's right, when you know better, you should do better. So if you come out April the 15th, 2 o'clock, I guarantee you we'll have a new beginning. Thank you.
Come on. Yes, yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Charles Richardson. I grew up here all my life, honestly. And I left fought wars with so-and-so and came back here. My only concern is, and it's not even a concern, the same energy you guys are putting here for this city meeting, I need to see some of y'all at this county meeting if we don't make this happen, right? Because I don't know Miss Moore myself. I don't have her number. I know some of you guys, I met you guys just out and about. However, this same energy, if this doesn't happen or they don't want us, we need to put this same energy into the county as far as providing resources, because it's not just Apopka, and you guys say South Apopka. I'm from Apopka. Bottom line, I represent both sides. So I'm going to say this same energy that you guys are putting here, if it happens or don't happen, we need to get with our commissioner and drill that person, because that's where it starts at, because you got a county on the other side that's Apopka that has the same resources as the city. And I think Pastor Howard was correct I work for myself, so I ride around every now and again just to see what's going on in my community, right? And he is right. When I go to the Publix shopping when I leave work, I see all kind of police officers there. When I come to this side, or right around my community, I see no police officers. And I do see Commissioner Smith, right? I do see him sitting in this church, at this church parking lot, looking out and observing. Now, I don't know what he does with the information that he gets or how it goes, but we need to drill the county about this. We need to call Jerry Dimmons and drill him the same way, because you can't tell me that Ocoee, where I sold a house that had all of the amenities that Apopka, North Apopka had, and here we don't have those same amenities. So I don't know where that communication breakdown comes when it's having to deal with our commissioner. I think the last person we had who I was displeased with was Teresa Jacobs at one point in time, and then I kind of moved north of here, so I didn't have a whole lot of say-so other than, you know, voting or whatever the case may be. So we have to stop drilling these guys, because if they don't want us, or they saying, hey, this is I heard somebody use the word liability, whether that's the case or not, we got to let that go and go to where the resources are to make this happen. And there's enough of us that live in the community that know people outside of the community that's still in the county that we can raise enough fuss to the county to make this happen. So I don't know what and my grandmother didn't want to be annexed in the city. Her only concern was the cost to run sewage from her house, because she was told that she had to run sewage from her house to the city, which is actually right across the street from me. And then, but however, I just seen a house annexed into the city that's next door, a property right next door to mine, and I don't know, they didn't make him, at this point, paying to the city sewage, which means he has septic at that particular property. However, that's a rental property for him. So whether he wants it or not, I have no idea. But I'm just gonna say this, please put this same energy that we're putting towards these guys, just put that same energy towards the county to make this happen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is there anybody else that wants to speak? And if not, I'd want to just close it out with each of the commissioners and to kind of give their closing thoughts. Commissioner Moore, I know there were some things we're talking about on impact fees and sewer that you want.
like to.
Yeah, okay. Why don't you start us out? We'll just come down the line.
There seemed to be a very common theme about the sewer, and I want to explain that a little bit. I started to a minute ago. And so we have a joint use agreement that was signed about 1992. It's about 30 years old. And the reason, again, there were problems because with the certain areas of town, and you had the county running a sewer line, and then you had the city running a sewer line up the same street. And so they got together and formed this document and had service areas. And so, Leroy, south of Apopka from 10th Street South is in the city service area. I can't put sewer down here. If you want sewer down here, you have to go back to the city. And so when you hear about grants for other unincorporated areas, it's because they're in Orange County Utilities service area. It still can be done. I'd be happy to help you. We could work on it together. Be happy to do that, but that's what just makes it a little more complicated, because this is where we are down here in a service area. The other thing I've had 4 cleanups. We've had multiple fairs. We're getting ready to have another fair here at the Bridges Center on April 29th. The Orange County Sheriff's Office and my office and the Apopka Safe Group are going to be doing another cleanup over on Old Apopka Road. And if you have gone over there, Orange County Parks and Rec's done a wonderful job cleaning up the trail and trying to encourage some of those empty lots to get built so we have additional housing. And so that's really been a priority. I think we should keep talking about this. I understand the emotional side. I understand the idea of being one Apopka, but you got to look at the finances too. I know you don't want to, but you have to. I have concerns for them because there are millions and millions of dollars that the county puts into this area that don't come from the taxes from here. And all your roads were resurfaced in 2019. We did a study to fix the other utilities and those sorts of things. Happy to do it, want to do it, would like to do more. If you have an interest, I would love to bring Mayor Demings down here, and maybe we could just talk to the South Apopka folks and have a session on what the county responsibility is, what the private sector responsibilities with the faith-based areas. And Pastor Bradford, I don't know where you are, but he made a statement that when we had shootings in Pine Hills, the Pine Hills community was right on it. They were. And so we have work to do. From my vantage point, I'm very concerned about your young men out there shooting each other and the gunshots that we're hearing night after night after night. I'm concerned about that, and that wasn't brought up tonight. So let me know. I'm going to give you my email address. You could call my office if you'd like for the county to come down here again with Mayor Demings and some of our department heads. Let's talk about it. I'm here for you. The county's here for you. But it is truly your decision if you want to annex into the city. I'm not going to stand against it. It's really, truly the community's decision. And I just would encourage you to think through every aspect of it. The emotional, the history, the finances, your own property. You really do have to look and weigh all those different issues. So if you want to send me, you can do it right now while you're sitting there. If you want to send me an email and tell me if you'd like me to bring, and I'll ask him, Mayor Demings, to come down here some step. Happy to do it. It's District 2 there's no space, so it's DISTRICT number 2 at ocfl.net. Let me know, and we can certainly explore. In the meantime, this process, Mayor Nelson, could take a few years. Happy to do whatever we need to do to. Sure, honey. Yeah, it's District, DISTRICT 2 at ocfl.net. The phone number is 407-836-5850. So I'd just like to see if you have an interest, and we could certainly have a meeting from the county perspective here at the Bridges Center. Thank you, Mayor, for inviting me.
Thank you. Commissioner Velasquez?
Good evening. This has been a very emotional-filled town hall. I have to say this, I did not supply any questions because I really felt that the town hall meeting was about hearing from you. I truly understand that the process of the annexation is very complicated. There was a question, do we want the annexation? So I will tell you this, when I was elected in 2014, since then, the annexation has been a very hot topic, probably for every election cycle that I have been in. And there was a time when the Ministry Alliance and other pastors from the area and some residents had kind of demanded where they wanted the one Apopka. And it took me a while. I'm here almost 19 years, and I've really dug into the history of the city of Apopka. And each time that I hear your concerns and I hear your voices and I hear your feelings about what South Apopka means to you and being unincorporated and not annexed to the city, I realize a lot of it has to do with legacy. There is a reason you want to be included, and I really do support that. A few years ago, the Ministry Alliance had gotten together, and I actually brought it. I keep bringing it, and that was done in 2015. And it was a resolution about one Apopka. And down here, probably some of you signed this. At that time, I was the only commissioner that signed it. And sadly, and you know, Commissioner Becker was not on, neither was Commissioner Smith or Commissioner Nestor, so they didn't have an opportunity for that. But I did at that time. So this has been going on almost as long as I've been in elected office. And tonight is just, I'm hearing the same things. And tonight was supposed to be about, to kind of explain the process of what annexation, please excuse me, there's a little gnat here. Oh my God, this little gnat doesn't want to let go. Is to explain the process, because it is emotional, it is about the history, it is about the finances. And we as elected officials, yes, we are your voices, and for me, my service is to you. If you want an annexation, then I will fight to make sure that I support that annexation. It is not up to me to decide if you should be annexed. It is truly, I want to hear the voices, I want to hear the residents. I want you to understand what it will be to be annexed into the city. It's important. So if you want to be annexed, then I will be that advocate for you. Absolutely. And at the end, it will either go on a ballot, and that's the fairest way, just like an election. The fairest way is to be put on a ballot, and then you would ask the residents. I see someone saying no. That's the fair, it would be, it's like any election. Each of us were voted into office. What happened, Mr. Lee?
Just finish. Finish.
Well, for me, excuse me? It's a two-part process, well, really a three-part. One is the city council has to say that we want to put it on a ballot, and we have to pay for all the ballot initiative. Then the county residents that are within that, county property owners within the annexationable area will vote. They have to be in the affirmative, and then the city residents have to be in the affirmative. So there's two votes that have to take place in the affirmative for annexation to happen. County residents within the annexational area have to vote yes, and then the city residents, separate ballots, have to vote yes. Yeah.
You said that it had to be a 51% majority?
Correct.
Okay, so if you do the ballot, like the lady said,
Correct.
who's going to be, no disrespect, but who's going to be the watchdog?
Well, it'll be run by Bill Cowles, the supervisor of elections. Yeah. Are you finished, Commissioner?
Yeah, I am. Oh, there he is.
Commissioner Becker.
My question would be, when we say that it's going to be on the ballot, would that be for residents of South Apopka, homeowners of South Apopka?
Yes.
How would that be so that everybody would be clear to who would be able to vote from
It's
a valid perspective?
the property owners of South Apopka.
I don't think that's completely accurate. I think it's the registered voters within that district. So it can be tenants, it can be anything, because if there's an owner that lives out of state or not in this district, they can't vote on this. It has to do with the tenants and the residents from, and I spoke to the attorney about that. We can get that confirmed, but from my understanding.
That's what everybody needs to know,
Yeah.
because if they don't understand
Yeah.
the method, we'll be asking questions, and I think it would be clear that everybody understands that they would be able to vote even if they didn't have property.
Correct.
Okay.
And we can get that confirmed officially, but I'm fairly certain I asked that question to the attorney separately, and that's how he designated, which makes sense, that that residents within that district are the voting members and not just the property owners.
You know,
Commissioner Becker?
Commissioner Velasquez, I just want to just share and thank you, because you know that we've always pushed for one Apopka. The Alliance have always pushed for one Apopka. So we want to make sure that as we move forward, whatever, you know, the residents want, I think that's the way it should flow.
Yeah, so
We'll just,
Say that again?
yeah, when would we vote on the voting?
yeah.
I would think it would probably be March, which is the next election, which would be the presidential preference primary, and it will be our city election. Then it doesn't happen. No,
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
hang
Yes.
hang on.
So,
Hang-
that's, let me, can I make,
Hang on. Shh, shh, shh.
can I make my remarks real quick? And maybe I can at least provide my opinion on the matter. And first and foremost, it really doesn't matter what my opinion is, it matters what your opinion is, because at the end of the day, you all will be the ones to vote on this. We as council, so what I'm trying to do on workshops like this for me personally, I can only speak for myself up here. But to Mr. Jared's point, is it Jared? I'm sorry. No, I see you, Pastor Howard, and the gentleman in the back that spoke. Mr. Jared? So the point and observation that you made is valid, right? When we query this room, there's a lot of hands that go up that are not in favor of this, and there's a lot of hands that go up that are in favor of this. At the end of the day, there could be a toss-up in terms of, even if we as a council voted to put this as an annexation by ordinance, put it on the ballot, and put it in the hands of the voters to decide whether or not they want to annex into our city, it feels like a toss-up at this point. What I'm trying to get out of sessions like this is understanding the why you would see benefit in annexing into the city of Apopka. Because what we're trying to do, what's happening right now is we're accelerating past the why conversation into the what are we going to do, how are we going to do it, versus whether or not we should be doing it. And that's what the purposes of the questions, and I guess I was punitive in actually supplying questions. We were asked to provide questions less than a week ago after this meeting was only noticed at 4 o'clock the afternoon of our last city council meeting. So again, we, even as commissioners up here, don't think that this city council is a unified front, that we all make decisions together collectively, because we don't. Some of these things are driven by our administration, not the city commissioners. But the purpose of the questions this evening were to get, to Ms. Morris's point, to get to the advantage or disadvantage conversation. It's, hey, if I look at myself as a county landowner or property owner, I own a home in unincorporated sections of county, and I feel like, and I'm just using an example here, and this isn't a testament on the county services, I just use this as an example. If Mrs. Carter said that your waste management services were not up to par, and 90% of this room said, you know what, ours are bad too, let's look at the city of Apopka's same service and say, would it be better or worse going into the city of Apopka? If Pastor Howard, talking about the observation about police presence or what have you, do you think that Orange County Sheriff or City of Apopka Police could provide that service better or worse? Is it an advantage or a disadvantage to go into the city? I won't put you on the spot, Pastor Howard, to say what your personal reasons were for annexing to the City of Apopka, but clearly there was a benefit to you personally. Whether that's what was driving you to annex originally, or if that was just a benefit above and beyond what your driving factors were, that's what I personally am trying to get to. Where I wrote down comments tonight was more about the stuff that you can kind of measure. Not anecdotally, but just, hey, do I see police presence? Is my trash picked up properly? Is there rubbish still on the side of the road? Do I have sidewalks? Then we could say, well, okay, in the city of Apopka, we budget X amount of money for sidewalks every year. Is it a matter of budgeting, or is it a matter of execution, actually building the sidewalks? And so the purpose of me coming out of this meeting, I'm still in the same place as the last meeting, I feel like, because I feel like we get very passionate, but it needs to be more of the, what are we really trying to benefit or not? Because there are people that want to stay in the county. Yep.
With the money that you guys have set aside, would you be willing to take some of that money to help some of the residents with the property taxes or with whatever they need to make this transition? Would you do that?
The money set aside for what? So when budgeted funds, correct.
So would you consider creating another budget or creating another
So
to help people, like you said, people may be over the age who, depending on their social security check or their, on this on a fixed income, would you be willing to create something to help them? If I'm on a fixed income, and yes, you said at the last meeting, 21.8% property tax increase. So if I'm on a fixed income, how am I going to make that?
I disagree with that number, though.
That's what you said in
No,
January.
I did not say,
Well, it was-
I did not agree with the baseline for how the tax increase
That
was
on your
written.
form. That was on your PowerPoint.
But again, this is me speaking as a commissioner. This is stuff that is written by the administration. We are in a strong mayor form of government, and so we as commissioners don't have input into some of the information that the mayor
Your
shares with
mayor,
you.
with Spectrum 13, the March 13th meeting,
Right.
with Spectrum
Two-
13,
two-
you quoted.
$2 million a year.
Right. Which would mean.
Additional property
and
taxes.
And what you say, a 1-point-something billion dollar tax increase? You say, hey, that's a big number.
No, $2 million across the city.
Okay, but still, that's sometimes on a fixed income, $5 may be too
Right,
much. I'm just saying. I'm just asking the question.
Yeah.
I'm just asking the question. It's food for thought. That's all.
But I want to provide a response because how this works is the mayor has put together with his staff let me just explain my psyche so you understand where I'm coming from.
I have my facial expression.
But $2 million is predicated on a new fire station being built.
No.
We do not necessarily need to have a new fire station built to raise taxes. That's also, the idea is if happened overnight, that this were to, if we as a council said, hey, we want to put it on the ballot, it's going to go forth and be voted on by the public, it's going to be a couple of years before this even takes full place. And so if we feel as a council that we're going to put on the ballot, we probably have a good sense that, hey, maybe it's going to pass. And if it's going to pass, then we have 2 or 3 years of runway to budget properly so that it's not as aggressive as a one-time hit that the mayor would like you to believe. There's a runway there. And then as we think about those things, if we want to say, hey, Pastor Howard brought up a good point. We need more sidewalks in the areas that he was describing. We can then properly budget, do the right allocation, get the budget in place to do all that stuff as you start to come online. Again, just listen to the words that the mayor just had as he's describing the process of putting this on the ballot. The very second or third word that came out of his mouth was the cost to put it on the ballot. Everything is money driven versus us really trying to drive what is the value of doing this.
Smith said it would cost for $14, our cost of living there. We get that much cost of living each year.
Again, these are.
Everybody's estimate $14. What's $14 to add to property tax?
Hold on. But for people who don't have, it's a lot.
Yeah.
You can't say, no. You
Okay,
can't say.
all
For
right,
people who are on
hang on,
fixed
hang on,
income,
hang on,
you
hang
don't
on.
know.
Okay,
You don't know that.
hang on.
People who are on Social Security or whatever, you don't know that because you have.
I just want to clarify this point.
Okay, hang on, ma'am.
Come on, man.
Okay, hang on. Shh, let's go.
Yeah. So the point being is, again, when I opened up my remarks, when we talk about why we're doing something, then the what are we going to do and how are we going to do it, the money and the budgeting aspect of it is on that what and how. $14 here, $2 million there. These are all just numbers that are not steeped in a whole bunch of.
No, ma'am, but let us finish. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, now, come on. No.
try to move from the county to the city for their lives to improve. This is unbelievable. The people should be able to live where they want and their lives improve.
And that's at the end of the day, that is what happens. It's
And the next thing is, if you're going to annex somewhere, there needs to be an education program. You can't just come in here and be shouting at each other. There needs to be an education program that not only lays out the method by which annexation is going to happen, but it needs to lay out what's going to happen when annexation happens. For example, there are a lot of youths in our community that are depressed. Is there going to be a program that help these kids? Is there going to be something in this plan? Because the city cannot come or with more draconian methods than the county and say this is why we annex you, so you have to clean up your yard or you have to do. No, it has to be more than that. That's what I'm saying. It has to be about the people's life. It must improve the people. In other words, is there a program that's going to say, okay, everybody has to clean up, but the city's going to come with their trucks and we're going to make sure you clean up. It cannot be just about saying annexation.
Okay.
It's crazy.
Okay. All right.
And I think we're probably saying the same thing. I don't disagree with what you're saying. Because I'm not here to tell you how you should feel about potential annexation. This is all that it is. It's potential annexation based off of the feedback that we've gotten from people, while all of us have campaigned for different offices, of the other side of the fence that says, hey, I would like to annex. They want us as their elected representative to try and create a value proposition for the people that don't want to at this point, to say, hey, what are the benefits of us annexing into the city? That's what these fact-finding missions are all for. I'm not to the point where I'm ready to make a vote to say we should annex by ordinance, because all that's doing is setting the motion for it to be on a ballot. Again, at the end of the day, it's your voice, your vote, and you control your own destiny. If you are fine living in unincorporated sections of the county, then advocate your position. For the other people that have the alternate point of view, they should advocate their position. I'm here to glean the best parts of both, to say whether or not I should, as one of the 5 people at City of Apopka City Council, whether or not I would vote in favor of putting on a ballot. That's all I'm trying to get to.
All right.
That's it.
Commissioner Becker?
Commissioner Smith, we need to finish. We've got 2 more.
I think I got to clarify something for some of these people that think that they're all going to be charged $14. I think that they need to know that this is...
It's property tax.
It's property tax,
Yes.
but it's not going to be $14 a person. The people with the $1 million house
Gonna
are
pay
going
more.
to pay
Yes, more.
$1,000,
Yes.
and the people with the $24,000 house might pay 25 cents.
Right, yeah, okay. All right. Commissioner
Yeah,
Smith?
so...
Come on, all right.
As I said, I'm a product of South Apopka. Started on 15th Street, and the house that I grew up on 15th Street is no longer there. When I first moved in that home, there was no running water and no bathroom. So we had an outhouse. Moved from 15th Street to 14th Street. The apartment or row house I lived in is no longer there. It's now a retention pond. From there to 13th Street, the house I lived in there is no longer there. So change is evident it's going to happen. When I talk to individuals that have left Apopka, and they said every time they come back for a class reunion, family reunion, or for a funeral, their comment is, this place has not changed. It's still the same. So all that time has been in the county, and there's been no change. So I firmly believe, by being annexed into the city, there'll be a difference and a change in the quality of life of the individuals that live here. And when I spoke and made a comment about the $14, I got that $14 figure from the information that was supplied to us from the administration, because they said the Apopka millage rate was 0.1396 more than the county millage rate. And so I asked, well, what's the dollar figure for that millage? And I was told $14. Preparing for this meeting, I went on Orange County Tax Appraiser's roll, and I pulled up a random property value. And according to that property value, if that property was annexed into the city, you would no longer have to pay unincorporated fire tax, which is $165. You would no longer have to pay unincorporated taxing district, which is $132.89. You would no longer have to pay for the special assessment for street lights, which is $46.06, and some streets still don't have street lights. So that comes to a total of $341.20. You currently pay $260 for garbage. According to the law, if we annex into the city and if there was a contract in place, that contract would have to remain in existence until it ran out. So by being annexed in the city, that would reduce your property taxes by $341.20.
No, that's not accurate.
The city of Apopka tax, the millage you have to pay because you don't currently pay Apopka tax, that would be $308.43. So based on that property, you would be paying $32.77 less than what you're currently paying. And you heard Reverend Howard mention earlier that he's paying less property taxes now as being a city resident. And so that was just one property that I pulled. Everything has a cost. And it's just a matter of determining what are you willing to pay for. In this particular instance, you're going to be saving $30 by becoming a city resident. And you say, well, what do I get? You're going to get better services, fire, police, garbage, sanitation. Your elected officials are going to be more accessible because, as was stated earlier, 80% of you don't go to the county commissioners meeting. You don't go there and voice your concern. By being a Apopka resident, you can almost walk to City Hall. We are accessible. As a county resident, you have one representative. That's Commissioner Moore. As a city resident, all four of us commissioners are your commissioners. And so you have four of us that you can come to and voice your concerns, in addition to the mayor. I firmly believe the government that's closest to you can provide you with the best services. We are more accessible, and then you can hold us accountable. I don't hide. I sit there at the corner of 10th and Central regularly, and you can always stop and talk to me. You can have my phone number, and I'm sure that these other commissioners feel the same way, that we are accessible and you hold us accountable. By being a city resident, that means you can vote for your city commissioners and your city mayor. So if we're not doing what you expect us to do as a city resident, then use your power of the vote and vote us out of office and get somebody that will.
All right, Commissioner Nesta?
Again, thank you for all being here. One of the questions that keeps coming up is kind of the question of why now? Why is this conversation finally coming up since 1980, basically? And I'll tell you, for how many elections recently that I've been paying attention to since I've graduated from college, things like that, is everyone on their, during their campaigns comes up with South Apopka annexation. What are we going to do about it? How are we going to do it? And for me, being the new guy on the block, so to speak, I'm done talking about it, and I either we need to take an action on it in some way. So that's why I've been forcing this more and more to have this conversation. say that these meetings wouldn't have happened without me pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. It's not to say yes or no one way or the other, but it's to say, let's make this an option. Let's see how can we improve this community. From there, I also want to say this community is not a liability. It's just not. So take that into account that it's not a liability. We can work together to improve lives and quality of life as well. And I obviously we can feel the frustration. We can hear the frustration. This is not something new, obviously. So we want to be able to work together on this. And one thing too that I focus on, real estate. I've been in real estate since 2009, since I've been 18 years old. I look at everything kind of with a real estate perspective, and one of my concerns, and I think, and I'll go on to my next point once I kind of hit this, is that we're going to have unintended consequences with annexation. And I don't know how to control some of these unintended consequences. One would be, and Mr. Ivan brought it up, he's basically talking about gentrification. This could lead to gentrification, that increased property values may drive out this community and change it completely. So that's my concern too, is that we're annexed, but is it totally destroying this community at the end of the day too? I don't know, and we need to dig kind of deeper into that. At the same time though, these increased property values can create multi-generational wealth. This is something that has happened in many families throughout Apopka, throughout the city, throughout the country, of families are able to pass down real estate and create wealth. That creates clout, it creates the ability to have more of a voice, to be business owners, whatever it may be. And if your property values are not increasing and you're not able to pass on that wealth, it puts you behind the eight ball. So there's a balance there of making sure that we don't gentrify, but also we create multi-generational impacts that are positive. With that all being said, I think we should be doing another workshop, but a workshop that's crafted not just on what this administration wants, or not going to say what you want, but that we all have a voice. Like basically, I want to be able to come up with my own presentation. Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Becker, Commissioner Velasquez, Commissioner Moore. Come up and bring your own facts. Kind of bring what you feel is the positives, how we can do better, where your lives are going to increase, how we can come together, maybe talk about districting at the same time, talk about how more accessible you're going to be. There's a lot that can be done here on a better workshop. And I will say this town hall meeting, I was expecting it to be a question, let's have some dialogue, let's talk about it, sit back down, go on to the next one. That unfortunately didn't happen again. So I'd like to, again, kind of craft these a little better and really get a decisive way of how to move forward best. And I would ask that we, with our commissioners, come together and actually create different pros and cons and kind of come up with that. Because I think everyone here is coming and wanting to be educated on this. How are the pros and cons? Where are we going to get better? Where are we going to get worse? And it's not always happening that way. It's just cost. Is it only going to cost us money? So again, thank you for being here. If you do need to email me and any of us, it's our first initial last name @apopka.net. So mine is nnesta@apopka.net. Feel free to reach out to me for anything. I'm happy to answer questions. Come to any community meetings. I wouldn't be here if I didn't care. So thank you again for all of you being here as well. And
okay, thank you.
Yes.
Well, is everybody signed up? We'd like to get everybody's email address because there's a couple of questions. What? Well, we'll
and we can discuss a way of marketing that way better.
Yeah. Right. No, I know. Right. We realize the water bill is a 45-day process. We have to do that 45 days out. So we can do another one in the water bill, but it's.
And that may give us enough time to properly strategize this.
I mean, but it's 45-day notice because, yeah. No, they won't do that for free. That costs us. I mean, I'm happy to do it. We can wait 45 days. I mean, we got time, so we can be happy to do it. We can put it in the newsletter. It was in. Okay, let me go over a couple things. First of all, I want to thank Cornelius Falk in the back. Where's Cornelius? Oh, there he is. He opened up the building for us, got our IT department in. Thank you, IT department of the City of Apopka, for putting all the mics together and getting the room set up. So appreciate y'all coming out and helping us, put this town hall together. A couple of things real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. A couple of things that have been talked about the county and the city. Commissioner Moore on the impact fees. I think we're both pretty much the same. Impact fees, we don't waive impact fees, and neither does the county on septic to sewer. So, and I know that the county's done some, and we've done some a little differently, but we've converted some septic tanks to different types of nitrogen reducing systems. But we've done it closest to the springs, so it's nothing about the neighborhood other than if you're closest to Wekiva Springs and to Rock Springs. Those are the neighborhoods that we want to impact because we have what we call a BMAP, which is a Basin Management Action Plan. So when we look at converting septic tanks to sewer or septic tanks to another type of system, we want to do those that are closest to the springs because we get the most bang for our buck as far as the BMAP, which is a DEP regulation we have to follow. So impact fees are about the same. You know, if you wanted to go from a septic and hook up to sewer, you have to pay an impact fee, and I think it's around $7,000. So it's not, but the impact fees between the city and the county are about the same, about $20,000 each. So to build a new house, it's about $20,000 of impact fees.
You're at 30?
What?
She said she's at 30.
And we're looking at raising some of ours now currently as well. And then the last thing I wanted, we're talking about the costs, and everybody, we can talk about whether it's important or not. The operating losses that the annexationable part of Orange County would be is about $2 million. The capital cost, which would include the fire station, is about, as I recall, it's $4 or $5 million. So there's capital cost to get, to do the annexation, and then there's the operating cost of about $2 million. So that's where we're at. But what we'll do is we'll put together one more town hall meeting. We'll do it. We'll get it in the city water newsletter. Now, that doesn't help us with the county residents up up toward the school, toward Wheatley, but we're happy to get it out to all the city residents, which 16,000. Yes. Right. And that was the last thing I wanted to bring up. The water that's provided, that's a separate item. We can't charge. We don't make a profit on water. Water is a pass through. It's not a profit center for the city. Matter of fact, as we have to meet new EPA and DEP. No, it's not. Okay, Monique, sure. Shh. Sure. Okay.
That's a great idea. I believe that we do need a facilitator.
Okay.
I also feel that when the mayor put this meeting together, as Commissioner Becker said, the commissioners were kind of the last ones to get. I didn't submit questions because I did not know what was the purpose of our meeting tonight. I just felt that I would come and hear the people from South Apopka, but you are correct. I feel that the next one needs to.
Okay. 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 All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming out. We appreciate it.